So the Scottish First Minister, Humza Yousaf, started off the debate. He said there are now 1 million people displaced in Gaza and they need to be given refugee status. He said Scotland has got its doors open. Well, it's not just his decision, it's the British government's decision. But I think the answer now has to be no. And here's why. Since the Brexit referendum, we've taken in over 500,000 asylum seekers. People from Afghanistan, people from Syria, people from Hong Kong, people from Ukraine. We're told the net migration figures are as high as they are because of these exceptional circumstances. And then comes along Gaza, another so-called exceptional circumstance. According to the United Nations, UNHCR, there are 80 million people in the world displaced or living in regions that could be defined as being going through war. There has to be a limit. We can barely put those that come legally to Britain, let alone those that cross the English Channel in boats. 400 hotels are full. Social housing waiting lists are at the longest they've ever been. So there is a problem simply with numbers. Do we want to be generous and kind? Yes. Does there have to be a limit on it? I believe absolutely. But think about this. Of all those people displaced from Syria, Saudi Arabia, one of the biggest, richest states in the whole region, did not take one single refugee. Egypt today won't take one single refugee from her neighbours in Gaza. Why? Because both of those countries want to preserve their own culture and are worried about terrorists getting through. I would suggest if the Arab neighbours of the Palestinians won't take them as refugees, that it's just about the last thing we should do. And think about it. The first duty of the British government is to protect the country and its people. And the risk of people coming in who are linked to Hamas is simply just too great. Take Spain. Over the last 3 years, 16 people have been arrested coming into Spain with known ISIS links. How many have come in where we don't know about their background, their history, but that could be linked to ISIS? So there is an issue here of national security. And then there's the issue of integration within British society. Just today, a report from a guy called Simcox, who's working for the Home Office as an independent, and he says one of the problems that we've seen over the last couple of weeks with problems on our streets, hatred, celebration of the mass murder by Hamas in Israel, the problem is too big a levels of immigration and too little integration. If we go on allowing millions and millions of people more over the next decade to come into our country with whom, frankly, in terms of culture, we have nothing in common historically or in any other way, then don't be surprised to see a divided Britain. Don't be surprised to see more marches on the streets of London, Belfast, Edinburgh, Manchester, Birmingham, or wherever else it may be. We are becoming an increasingly divided, and I have to say, intolerant society. And that's all about who we let in. I'm not being harsh, I'm not being unkind, I'm being realistic. No country through centuries has done more to help those in genuine need than the United Kingdom. No one's done more for genuine refugees. And there may well be a case for women and children displaced in Gaza and elsewhere. But we just have to say, enough is enough. And we cannot risk this legion of young men coming into our country, whether it's from there or across the channel. We can't allow it to happen. It's not good for our country. It's not good for our communities. It's not good for our society. And it puts all of us at risk every single day. The time has come to stand up and say no.